Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. As homeowners who really care about keeping our properties in top shape, we all know the HVAC system is kind of the hidden hero of the house. It works tirelessly in the background. But to truly understand the absolute limits of this equipment, we're going to look at a really fascinating case study today. Hilliard, Ohio. By analyzing the sheer, extreme climate battles these units face out in central Ohio, we can learn exactly how to protect our own systems, literally no matter where we live.
So here is our game plan for today. First, we're looking at the climate stress test. Second, common HVAC failure points. Third, the essential rules of thumb you need to know. Then we'll check out the science of sizing, and finally wrap up with lifespan and professional care. Just consider this your comprehensive survival guide to protecting your home's comfort and, well, your wallet.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the Climate Stress Test, Hilliard, Ohio, as the ultimate HVAC laboratory. Hilliard's weather is basically a relentless antagonist to heating and cooling equipment. I mean, we're talking about sub-20-degree winters that force furnaces to run continuously for months on end. And that cold brings these brutal freeze-thaw cycles that actually cause ductwork connections to expand and contract. Then, completely flipping the script, you get 90-plus degree summers with 70% humidity. That intense humidity forces an air conditioner to work double time, just sweating it out to remove moisture while it cools the air. You're looking at a temperature swing of over 100 degrees between the coldest winter night and the hottest summer afternoon. Your system has to perform flawlessly across that entire extreme spectrum.
But here's the thing. It's not just the broad temperature swings. It's the highly specific local microenvironments that physically attack the equipment. For instance, in older Hilliard neighborhoods, you've got outdated, undersized ductwork restricting airflow, which creates all these frustrating hot and cold spots in the house. Over near the Heritage Golf Club, high humidity from the course irrigation actually causes accelerated unit corrosion. And then there's the Franklin County soil. It's super rich in clay, meaning it constantly shifts with seasonal moisture, literally pulling apart ground-level ductwork. So your home's highly specific location actually dictates its specific HVAC vulnerabilities.
Moving right along to Section 2, common HVAC failure points, what actually breaks under pressure. So when a system is under this much intense pressure, what actually snaps? Well, what's really interesting about this is how entirely predictable it is. Technicians heavily stock their trucks for these exact three issues. First up, frozen evaporator coils. When airflow is restricted, say by a dirty filter, or when summer humidity is just incredibly high, moisture literally freezes right onto the cold coil surface. Second, failed capacitors and contactors. These are the electrical parts that jumpstart your motors, and they frequently just burn out from the extended runtimes. And third, ductwork air leaks. Remember that shifting clay soil and those freeze-thaw cycles we just talked about? Yeah, they pulled ducts apart, wasting 20 to 30% of your conditioned air before it even reaches your living room. No way you want to pay for that. But honestly, the most alarming failure point by far is the heat exchanger. This is the metal component that actively heats your home's air. Think about it. Over many harsh winters, that metal expands when it gets hot and contracts when it cools. Eventually, just like bending a paperclip back and forth over and over, it develops stress fractures. And if this cracks, combustion gases can mix directly with your home's breathing air. That creates a severe, potentially deadly carbon monoxide risk. So this isn't just about keeping your toes warm, it's absolutely crucial for life-saving safety.
All right, Section 3, Essential Rules of Thumb, Easy Formulas for HVAC Survival.
Okay, so how do we actually manage these massive investments without losing our minds? It all starts with one critical number, $5,000. This is the exact threshold for making the toughest financial choice a homeowner faces. Do you repair the broken unit or do you bite the bullet and commit to a full replacement? We call this the $5,000 rule. It's super simple. You multiply the age of your system by the quoted cost of the repair. If that total is over $5,000, replace it. If it's under, repair it. Let's break down the math real quick. Say you have a 12-year-old system, and the tech quotes you a $500 fix. 12 times 500 is $6,000. Since $6,000 is over that $5,000 threshold, it makes far more financial sense to just replace the unit. Throwing good money at a failing, inefficient system just isn't worth it when a new one is going to give you lower utility bills and much more reliable comfort. Okay, here is our next critical number, 2. Right now, I want you to mentally picture the physical space around the outdoor air conditioning unit at your house. What does it look like? This brings us to the 2-foot rule. You absolutely must maintain exactly 24 inches of clearance around your outdoor condensing unit.
When overgrown shrubs, fences, or those cute decorative screens choke off that space, it completely restricts airflow. Your system has to work incredibly hard just to breathe. And that leads to higher utility bills, those frozen coils we mentioned earlier, and premature compressor failure. Seriously, take a weekend, trim back those bushes, clear out the dead leaves, and just give your unit the 2 feet of breathing room it desperately needs. And that brings us to our final rule, which revolves around the number 3. This is a highly specific operational rule that protects the absolute beating heart of your air conditioning system.
It's the 3-minute rule. You have to wait 3 full minutes between turning your AC off and turning it back on. Wait, why? Because refrigerant pressure needs time to safely equalize between the high and low sides of the system. If you lose your patience and start rapidly flipping the thermostat or the breaker back and forth, you're literally forcing the compressor to start against incredibly high pressure. That causes immense mechanical stress and can easily lead to a catastrophic, super expensive failure. Just be patient and let the system cycle naturally.
On to Section 4, the science of sizing. Why guessing square footage fails. A major takeaway from the source data is that guessing your equipment needs based purely on square footage is just a recipe for disaster. If an installer slaps in an oversized system, it cools the house way too quickly and short cycles, meaning it turns off before it actually removes that thick summer humidity. You'll be cold, but clammy. Conversely, an undersized system will literally run constantly trying to reach the thermostat setting until it just wears itself out and dies years before it should.
So the absolutely crucial point here is that true professionals rely on data, specifically a manual J load calculation. This is a strict scientific method. It doesn't just casually look at your square footage. It actively evaluates your insulation levels, the number and efficiency of your windows, and even which direction your house faces into the sun. It's a comprehensive, data-driven approach that determines the exact tonnage required for your specific home to ensure maximum efficiency and comfort.
Finally, Section 5, lifespan and professional care. Getting the most out of your system.
Look, these systems are massive financial investments, and protecting them requires a strict professional service process to completely eliminate costly surprises. Step 1. Pros schedule and diagnose using digital, highly specialized testing equipment, not just eyeballing it or guessing. Step 2. They repair or install following exact manufacturer specifications and rigorous local building codes, which includes safe refrigerant handling. And Step 3. They test and guarantee the work. They literally measure the airflow, double-check all safety controls, and ensure there are absolutely zero gas leaks before they even think about leaving your house.
And here is exactly why seasonal professional tune-ups are absolutely vital. 73%. Homeowners who stick to regular seasonal maintenance experience 73% fewer emergency breakdowns. That is huge. Look at the timeline. At year 0, you get a beautiful professional installation. But if you just ignore the system, by year 10, those harsh winters and humid summers will wear it down and it will begin to fail entirely. But, and this is the key, if properly maintained with seasonal tune-ups, that very same system can efficiently reach its full 15 to 20-year lifespan. Which brings us to the ultimate question you really have to ask yourself right now. Is your home's hidden hero quietly heading toward a miserable 10-year breakdown? Or are you prepared to use the rules of thumb and maintenance strategies we've learned today to help it comfortably reach year 20? Seriously, take a walk outside today, measure that 2-foot clearance, and give your system the care it deserves. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.